So look, where we're at with interest rates now, it's pretty simple. You can see right here where, at 3.85% in the far bottom right-hand corner there. Look, it is elevated, I'd say, definitely to where we're at in the present day. It is the highest it's been in a number of years, in about 10 or so years, by quite a way as well. You can see there as well, we've had a brief hold basically at the top, and it looks like we're coming slightly down now. So that's where we're at. But what I want to talk to everyone about here is basically interest rates do run in cycles, and you can see that very clearly here. So what I've kind of done here is I've broken up sort of some periods of where things have happened. So first things first, you'll see I've got on the left-hand side here, we'll go left to right, just the sharp ups. So you'll see, first of all, the sharp increase in interest rates in about 94 to 95. You've got that as well, then again in late 2010. And that as well, then obviously in your 2022 to 2023 as well. So that's all your sharp increases. Your gradual increase came in sort of the mid-2000s. You can see there from about 2002, 2003, right through to about 2008. You had an increase in interest rates, but just more gradually there. And then the key parts I want to also get into is you've had one gradual down, which was basically about your 2011, 2012, right through to obviously your COVID times. But I'd say your COVID times was an absolute anomaly. The cash rate probably wouldn't have got anywhere under 1.5% if it weren't for COVID. And then finally, we got your two sharp downs here. So you can see obviously your 97 then your first one, and then finally your second one in your sort of 2008, and that was because of the GFC. So look, what we've got there is you can see clearly that interest rates run in cycles. It's not, it's basically not, prone to do anything specifically outside their cycles. Like they do have hybrid sort of versions of their cycles, but generally they run in cycles. So if you look to the bottom right hand corner here, I've just got the number 2026 there. And the reason I've got that there is, look, I think what's going to happen here is you will get a fairly sharp, probably immediate decrease in interest rates. I think it will then sort of graduate out, and I think it's probably going to go somewhere probably in the mid to late twos, I'd say, in terms of the cash rate. That's probably what's going to happen. We are in an environment, where we do actually have quite a few, I'd say, international pressures, obviously with tariffs and everything else. And we also, not only that too, but we also do have inflation that is, don't get me wrong, it's in the band 100%, but we do have inflation that's not well below the band. So it doesn't really completely justify, I guess, cutting interest rates, straight down like they probably have in the past, especially in somewhere like, your 2008 to 2009, not like that. But I think what you'll find is it'll probably be a hybrid between the gradual and sharp down. That's what's going to happen. We're definitely on the down slope of it. But as to how fast they do, it's probably a question to be answered. For those that were watching the RBA's decision, and especially if you took notes on what Michelle Bullock had to say, basically what she said was they are considering cutting rates, but they want to see the quarterly inflation data. And if you look at the previous two rate cuts, that's really what they've done. They've basically waited for that quarterly data to come in and make sure the decision they're making is the right one. Which I actually don't think is a bad thing. I mean, I'm in the industry, but it doesn't really bother me too much because, naturally speaking, I think the government should be completely, separate from the RBA. The RBA should just make decisions on what they feel deems best because they're getting paid to do so. But regardless of that, what basically, if you listen to the rhetoric, was saying is that they're definitely considering interest rate cuts, and there is a possibility, especially in the last meeting, of a 0.5% cut too. So they're definitely coming. There's no doubt about that. They're just a little bit more conservative about the way they're doing things. They want more, should I say, a larger sample size of data. That's really what they were saying. They're obviously considering international pressures and everything else and all that kind of thing too. But that's really what it is. And look, what's actually keeping interest rates up as well is just government spending. So, if you want to look at, for example, how much, Albanese and the Labor government have actually spent on public services and especially jobs growth, it's something like above 85%. I think it's close to 90 if I'm not mistaken, percent of the jobs growth has been in the public sector. So what's happening there is they're not actually, what they're trying to do is they're trying to prop up the economy with tax paid money and just make and get the figures to look very good. And what has happened over time too is that those figures are actually quite tainted, in my opinion. So in the unemployment rate, for example, if you're actually not looking for a job for any longer than 6 months, you're not actually considered unemployed anymore. That has been changed fairly recently in recent years. So that's another thing. Like, the unemployment rate it has been completely manipulated over time. And that's the whole reason why the unemployment rate still looks low. It's first of all government spending. It's also how they define it. So that's another thing that's actually keeping them up. But anyway, aside from that, as I said, where we're really at here is we are definitely on the downslope of interest rates. I don't think it's going to go up from here. Probably not for a couple of years or so. It's just generally how they run in cycles. It would be quite should I say rare if they do. The only case I could see if they did rise is if they started to drop it something like the 2008, 2009 times, and they dropped it way too far, which I don't think is a good idea. And I think our government will be a little bit more conservative with that, if I'm straight honest there. But that's kind of where we're at, and that's what I kind of see in the market at the moment anyway.